Yo, what is up, guys? This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall channel, your source for on point and no hype reviews. We are back again, everybody. We're back with another fragrance review right here, guys. And today I will be talking about a latest release fragrance that comes from one of my favorite houses in the niche world, Amouage. And guess what, guys? There are three things about this fragrance. Number one, this fragrance, this latest release fragrance, has gotten a lot of really positive reviews across the board, guys. Number two, this fragrance was made for women, but a lot of people that have tried this fragrance have been saying that this fragrance is actually unisex and can be worn by men. And number three, this fragrance is quite expensive because it comes from the Amouage Extrait de Perfume series. So with all that being said, positive reviews, possibly unisex, and very expensive, guys. That means this fragrance deserves a no hype review. So that's what I'm going to give you guys today on this no hype breakdown. Let's go. Now, before I continue, please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys. Okay, liking, subscribing, and watching the ads is a great big deal to this channel. Guys, we just hit 22,000 subscribers. So I do want to thank y'all for all your support. And I do have a real nice deep connection with my followers and my subscribers, because every time I post a video, most common comment I get is, oh my God, I was looking at this fragrance. I've been very curious about this fragrance. And guess what? You dropped it at the right time when I needed a no hype, really nice scent breakdown on this fragrance. And so, yeah, thank you very much for all your support, guys. I will keep going. Thank you very much. And the fragrance that we'll be talking about today is none other than Amouage Guidance 46. Yes, Amouage Guidance 46. Now, first and foremost, I do want to thank one of our subscribers and friends of the channel. Her name is Heather, because Heather sent this to us. Basically sent a whole care package of really amazing niche perfumes that, I mean, I have never tried. I mean, I cannot wait to go through every single one of them. Tuberose Astral, Guerlain's Santal Royale. I have never tried that before. And she sent a lot of her favorites for me to review for y'all in the channel, guys. But this one right here, Amouage 46, is definitely one of those that she said, man, put an exclamation point on this fragrance. I love it. It's one of my top favorites. And not only that, but we are also seeing, again, across the board, a lot of really positive reviews, guys. All right, so that's number one. And again, like I said, this one comes in the Amouage Femme bottle. All right, but as you guys know, Amouage makes some really good unisex fragrances. So just because it's in a femme bottle doesn't really necessarily mean that this is just for women. So that is what we're going to go through. I'm going to go through the scent development of this fragrance, performance, usage. I'll break it down for y'all. Is this worth the expensive price, the Extrait de Parfum price of $500-something and above? Let's find out today. Let's go spray this thing right now. Okay, guys, now let's talk about this fragrance right here, Amouage Guidance 46. All right, this is the Extrait de Parfum version of Amouage Guidance. Now, first and foremost, I think it's really important to understand the concept of these fragrances, especially niche fragrances, because versus mainstream designer fragrances where it's all about you, yeah, it's pretty egocentric. It's all about, you know, making the buyer or wearer satisfied and compliment happy and smelling good. You know, it's usually when it comes to designers, it's all about them. It's all about the wearer, right? But when it comes to niche, it's basically art. It's art in a bottle. And so the concept is really important, because you will see the revelation of how concept turns into an actual fragrance and you actually smell the execution of that concept. Now, here in Amouage Guidance, it's basically contrasts, all right? So this fragrance is a fragrance of contrasts, apparently, where you have some aggressive, strong, impactful notes contrasting with some calming and real mellow type of notes. And that is an amazing concept, guys, in a fragrance. Now, let's start with the opening, guys, which I'm going to say is pretty impactful. It's probably the big reason a lot of y'all will buy this fragrance. Right here in the opening, you have a strong blast of fruity pear with powdery notes, probably some powdery musk right here in the beginning, guys. You have some mild rose water and the early appearance of some incense, all right? So I gotta say that this is a pretty impactful opening, especially because you're getting the powder, but then you're getting some fruity pear. And I love pear in a fragrance because it's not too tart, it's part juicy, and then it's also kind of calming, like I said, guys, all right? So you have this calming but very impactful powdery pear start, and then you have rose water, which is the perfect balance, okay, versus a standard rose scent, which goes heavy into rose, or usually it's geranium into rose. No, here you get rose water, guys. So it doesn't immediately go into a gradient. It's a nice, flowy rose water that goes with that impactful start. Again, fruity pear with some powdery notes, some rose water, and then you have an underlying incense, you know, and it's a really, like I said, really, really impactful opening. Is probably the reason why a lot of people will buy it. Now, let me say this, guys. This opening to me is very unisex, thanks to the pear, thanks to the powdery notes. Normally, rosy fragrances that start with straight up rose or geranium, usually these are kind of leading femme, but this one actually did not, because of the fruity pear, the powderiness that hit, and then of course because it's rose water instead of rose, there's that balance right there, and it feels like just like a cool weather type of intro. So it's not heavy in the beginning. I think it's an impactful phase. And let me tell y'all, the initial sillage and projection, this is exactly what I want in almost every fragrance if I could have it. The initial sillage and projection is an aura scent, and it's a strong aura scent with a scent trail that goes on for like about 2 hours, guys, before it kind of settles down. But like I said, this is the type of sillage I'm looking for. It's impactful. You'll definitely hit people around the room, but it's not like forceful, as opposed to thick, heavy, and even spicy fragrances, guys. This one is actually kind of like a stealth perfume because, like I said, the pear is actually just the right amount of fruitiness and tartness, and you have the powdery notes that diffuse in the air, and even the incense is kind of like a low-key type of incense, and the rose is not a heavy rose. So therefore, it's kind of like a stealthy, strong projector. But definitely, guys, this is going to project strong, and it's definitely competitive with the loud perfumes out there. But again, it's not invasive. It doesn't feel like you're invading someone's space, but you know you're going to get them. It's a stealthy projecting one right here. Now, part of the gradient of this fragrance, what really starts the gradient, obviously, is going to be your pink peppercorn as well as your saffron, the spice of saffron. These notes started, okay, because they are warm and spicy and aromatic notes, and they appear as early as 30 to 40 minutes into the scent, okay? So not too long from the beginning. Again, you're still getting that impactful, strong sillage, like I said, but you know this fragrance starts developing a draw-in, warm and spicy vibe thanks to those two notes heading into the mid. Now, usually, if you know your perfumes, you got the rose water, and then you've got the saffron and the pink pepper. You already know it's going to go into a rose incense mid, probably woody and smoky. But the thing about this fragrance that's pretty interesting is that they added a gourmand touch into the mid of this fragrance. So instead of just going into rose incense, you do get some bitter almond and some hazelnut. You even have some osmanthus florals, which actually lend like a honeyed vibe into this. But it becomes kind of gourmand, guys. And this is, like I said, this is the concept in motion. As you're having these spicy notes, that you can say these are the contrasting notes. And then you have the gourmand, calming, sweet, relaxing notes of hazelnut, bitter almond, right here into the mid. So I like that contrast right here of both. You are going to get a gourmand gradient into this fragrance. It's a nice added dimension placed here by Amouage. So it's not just your standard like rose incense fragrance. Okay, so now here's a question about the mid. If the first part of Amouage Guidance 46 is actually unisex, does it turn femme now in the mid because the rose water turns into rose and then we go into some gourmand sweet notes? Actually, no. It's still very much unisex in the mid because you have incense, all right? The incense, the woody incense, woody smoky incense, the Omani incense is part of the backbone of the mid, guys, and it does get stronger. Like I said, you get early incense in the beginning with the powdery notes and the pear, but of course that pear disappears within like 45 minutes and you've got woody incense, which like I said, balances the mid into unisex territory. So it's still gourmand, a nice gourmand touch right here with the hazelnut and bitter almond as the rose water actually goes into rose, and that's a thicker, I would say powdery rose, guys. But like I said, the incense maintains the woodiness and the unisex nature here in the mid. I still think it's very much unisex right here. Okay, so now I've talked about the start and the mid of this fragrance. Again, a beautiful, impactful start that'll grab the attention of everybody in the room that goes into a very multifaceted gradient, not a simple gradient with spices, a gourmand touch, and some incense, some woody incense balancers here, and of course, rose. I gotta say, guys, this is definitely like an upscale, complex scent. And it will be wearable by the connoisseurs, all right? Again, this won't be for the mainstream people that it's all about them and compliments and what have you. This is for the connoisseur, the one that wants to actually smell complex but really wonderful. And what I like about the quality of this fragrance is that you can really smell the note separation and the high quality notes. That is basically what you pay for. With other fragrances, they could list the same notes, but guess what? You can't smell all of them and you can't smell the note separation. And I gotta say, once you smell quality, you really can't go back. And here, I mean, the rose water, you can really smell that. You can really smell the Omani incense, the spices, the pear. It's all in there, guys. And so it's very, very high quality. It's for the upscale connoisseur. Okay, so as I've said, guys, the strong projection of this fragrance is about 2 hours, lasts about 2 hours. And then after that, it becomes a consistent, lingering draw-in scent. All right, beautiful, gourmand, and classy for the wearer. And then, of course, rose and incense, guys. Really balanced, guys. Now, heading into the dry down, you're gonna get vanilla. Vanilla starts in the 4-hour mark, and it's a nice, sweet touch into this fragrance. Makes sense. Usually after rose, you have vanilla. And the other thing that happens after that is, of course, patchouli that comes through from Akigala wood, all right? Akigala wood is actually basically patchouli and woods, and that starts up the dry down, guys. It's a woody, vanilla dry down. And then as you go into the latter dry down, you get some amber, all right? You get some labdanum, you get some amber here, and it becomes basically an amber patchouli vanilla dry down, all right? I mean, it is a very nice, comforting, sweet, woody patchouli dry down, and it lasts quite a while because the thing starts at hour 4, and then it develops in hour 6, and beyond. It's a nice, I would say, fade to black ending to this gradient where it becomes more comforting, warmer, richer, and sweeter into this ending. This is probably the more femme-leaning part of this fragrance because it's your classic amber vanilla patch. But like I said, I mean, it could be unisex still. But definitely the first and second parts of this fragrance, 100% unisex. I'm sure that those parts, the beginning to mid, matter to some of y'all guys more than the ending. Okay, so now let's talk about total performance on this fragrance. This fragrance lasted 12 hours plus on my skin, all right? Obviously, this is a testament to the Extrait de Parfum series. And of course, it's Amouage. I mean, when has Amouage actually sucked in performance? I don't think ever. I mean, they have been strong, consistent, and the strength is actually consistent for hours and hours. But again, I love how this fragrance goes through different multifaceted stages, all right? You don't get just one thing. You get multiple notes, multiple things really in unison, but then, again, giving you the contrasts, all right? It gives you a nice powdery, fruity opening that goes into rose water, that goes into rose and spices and gourmand stuff, and then vanilla amber patch. I gotta say, it gives you some real good stuff on all stages of the fragrance. I think it's beautiful. Now, usage-wise, as I've said, this is an upscale grabber. I mean, if you're using this as a grabber, you're probably a millionaire or billionaire. All right, you're probably rich to begin with. But really, for me, as an average guy, definitely I would say that this is an upscale grabber. All right, or probably even special occasions. Or if you want to get the aura of somebody that is complex and like a connoisseur and somebody classy and multifaceted, I mean, this is definitely a fragrance to wear. And because of the gradient going from the nice intro, going into deeper, darker, warmer notes, guys, definitely this is something that brings out sensuality and romance and intrigue. All those things are brought up by the notes right here. So if that's what you're going for, definitely wear this fragrance. And finally, let's talk about the cost right here, guys. Is this worth a full bottle? This fragrance, 100 ml, $500. All right. But I will say this, given that this is a pretty balanced rose incense fragrance with a lot of special effects, a lot of stages, this can definitely compete with all the expensive rose incense or rose oud fragrances out there, I would say. This competes because it's multifaceted. It's not your average gradient that happens here. And it's 100 ml. You get a ton of juice for your $500. So I would say try or test this fragrance first. But if you're feeling it, if you're really feeling the sensual, romantic vibe of this fragrance, plus that impactful start, I mean, this might be a fragrance that's full bottle worthy. And that is it. That's my no hype review on Amouage Guidance 46, the extrait de parfum version of Amouage Guidance. Let me know in the comments below what y'all think of this fragrance. If you've owned it or if you've tried it, what's your feedback? I do want to know because, like I said, across the board, it seems it's all positive. So let me know in the comments if you feel that this is unisex or femme-leaning. I would love to know, guys. And again, thank you, Heather, for sending this decant as well as many others that I cannot wait to test today and the next day and the next day. All right. So thank you very much, Heather. Again, please do not forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. God bless. Take care. Peace.